How do you feel about Kanye and his situation and all the craziness around that? What, obviously we know he made some mistakes and said some crazy things, but how do you feel about all that?
I love Kanye.
Right.
I love Kanye, and I think I'm not a person. I don't like a witch hunt. I just don't like a witch hunt. People do things, they say things, and they have their reasons. I can't speak for him.
Right.
I don't agree with everything he says, but I respect the fact that he has an opinion. And whenever somebody has an opinion, as a human, I have the decency to listen to their opinion without passing judgment.
Right.
It's definitely, multiple sides to every story. So I think I respect Kanye as a man. I respect Kanye as a creative, and I respect Kanye as a forward thinker and a philosopher. So I don't discredit anything that he says. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I listen to it with open ears and I evaluate it with my heart. And one thing about Kanye, he is speaking from his heart.
For sure.
So I think he's hurt. He was hurt, and I think he's been hurt before, and that's how he learns. I feel like things hurt him, and he's very vocal about what hurts him, and then that's his personal plight. Then he learns more, and then he grows and he develops from that. So yeah, but I think Kanye is a brother. He's done a lot. I'm not a person. I don't pick and choose. Like if I love somebody, I love them.
Right.
I don't say like, you can shoot basketball, but I don't want to hear what you got to say. Or you can make shoes, or you can rap, but that's it. I think everybody has an opinion, and I think every opinion is valid. He can. I know he's probably his publicist's nightmare. Because the thing with Kanye, he's super intelligent, but he just speaks from his heart. He don't think before. I ain't gonna say he don't think, because he's definitely a thinker, but he says what he feels.
Right.
Most of us are liars. If you want to be honest, most of us are liars. We'll never say how we feel because of that fear of what he's going through. Right? So we can judge him and condemn him and throw stones and cast stones, but the reality is most of us don't have the courage to speak up when we feel a way. And like it, love it, hate it, agree with him or disagree with him, he is courageous and he speaks his truth. It's not everyone's truth, but everyone has a right to speak their truth, and we shouldn't feel like we can't express ourselves out of fear of being like ostracized or cut off. And it, in a lot of ways, what he's, he said this is going to happen to me because I'm speaking out in this way, and then it began to happen to him. So what's he saying?
My only issue with that is that he knew it was going to happen.
Right.
So what was the plan?
When I'll take more sure. When was it Abraham who placed his son?
Somebody from the Bible?
Do you think that Kanye was like, he sacrificed himself for us?
No, I mean, I don't want to get too, but when Cain killed Abel.
Yeah.
When Cain killed Abel, what was the plan? Or when Abraham placed his son there, what was the plan? He didn't know the plan. It was God's plan. So I honestly believe that Kanye is a vessel. I'm not saying he's a prophet or anything of that sort, but I think the thing is, when you move from your heart and you just do things, it's genuine. And you can't, I don't know why he did it. I don't think there was a plan. It was like, yo, this is how I feel. Like, if you get hit by a car, you yell, right? It is what it is. So I think when you do something, you don't really know what the outcome is going to be all of the time. It's not always planned out.
But he knew the outcome. See, that was my whole thing. It seemed like he understood the way the world was built and how it was built and the way the world moved. And he said, he decided to go against that. The thing that was the thing that was shocking to me, like if he would have did everything he did, fine, I don't have no problem with it. And then the next day, when Adidas dropped him, because he, kind of antagonized that situation, and then he got dropped, and then the next day he would have been like, cool, here's all my new shoes. And now we have a factory in Africa. Here you go, world. Here you go. To me, that's brilliant.
But you know what it is?
To me, that's brilliant.
I'm going to tell you,
I'm here for all of that.
You know why he didn't do that? Because he didn't have us there to back him up. That's not what he does. Had me and him been on the phone,
right,
I would have been like, here go 100 new products. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, we wasn't there to back him up.
The thing that's so crazy, because we're talking about people being ostracized and things like that. I don't know if you know about, what's the chicken restaurant? Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A had an issue with gay people. They was like, nah, it's against God. It's whatever. And that was their whole stance on it. And they made that stance and they wasn't backing away from it. And they didn't care how anyone felt. And they just moved forward and they weren't controlled by anybody. They could say what they wanted to say. And they actually made more money during that time. Them lines were out of this world for Chick-fil-A. Because they didn't give a fuck.
You know, the thing people gotta realize is there's always sides, right? And there's always sides, and that's kind of what he was dabbling into. Is like there are sides. Like he wanted to vote for Trump.
Right.
He was the president. There's a bunch of people who wanted him to be president, not just Kanye. He's not individually crazy where he's the only one that wanted Trump to be president. This is we live in a time now where like. You got to think, when most presidential candidates, like if you look at the history, like people obviously have a candidate that they want to win. But now with like social media, people are being treated like cattle with their opinion. It's like, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to cancel you.
Right.
If you don't agree with me, you're crazy. If you don't agree with me, we can't be friends. If you can't agree with me, then we're going to kick you out of every club that you're a part of. That wasn't an issue in the 80s, and it wasn't that serious. It was like you was either voting for this person or you voting for that person. So it's like, why, you know, he wanted to vote for Trump. That's how he felt. You know, like you don't have to agree with it, but he's not the worst person in the world because he wanted to vote for Trump.
That's absolutely true.
You know what I'm saying? So when you think about that, when we think about like gay rights, everybody has their opinion on gay rights and they have their stance on gay rights, but there are a group of people who, you know, follow a religious doctrine and they stick to that religious doctrine, and they feel like, in my religious doctrine, which is my operating system, it tells me not to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Room for that.
Right. So if you're Chick-fil-A and you stand on that, I'm going to come buy a chicken sandwich tomorrow.
But it also showed me what Chick-fil-A did is that they were in complete control of their destiny. And no one could tell them anything. And Kanye was in a different situation. And us, sometimes as minorities, we're always in a different situation where we can't actually speak our mind. We actually have to get along to get along. Right. And it just kind of showed like they did what they did. They weren't affected. They actually made more money. Kanye did what he did, and now everyone's canceling him. Because he technically didn't completely control his situation. Right. So it was, to me, I thought what he did was brave, and it was eye-opening to me as a business person. If
you look, it goes back into what you just said. Like, Kanye wasn't prepared to capitalize on standing on the side he stood on. So a lot of the times, you could look at Chick-fil-A, they said what they had to say, and now the people who agreed with them said, I'm going to go buy 10 chicken sandwiches.
Absolutely.
Kanye, when he said what he said, it was billions of people who agree with him.
Absolutely.
Hundreds of millions of people who agree with him.
Absolutely.
And his sneakers didn't become less popular because of it. The thing is, he offended the people who were manufacturing his products, and he distributed he offended the person who was manufacturing his product, and he offended the person that was distributing his product.
Right.
And he distributed the people that were helping pay to market his product. So because of that, his manufacturing, his distributing, and his marketing, manufacturing, marketing, and distribution fell back. They said, You don't like us, we don't want nothing to do with you.
Which is cool, because they got their right. They have the right to do it.
Exactly.
So that's why I found it more upsetting that he wasn't prepared for that. Right. Because you prepare for that, you come off as it changes things. Mm-hmm. He released his own new website, his own new Yeezys, his own new brand. Then it's like, wow, he knew it was going to happen. it just would have came off so much different than me. Instead of just kind of, like you said, speaking from his heart.
But I think you got to look at like what a person's strong suit is, right? Like Kanye is a very, he's genius in a lot of ways. And there's other things that he's not, he's not genius in every category. Like musically, he's genius. From a design perspective, he's genius. From a marketing perspective, he's genius. I don't expect that person to also be able to build a Nike level manufacturing facility. But the thing is, the people in our culture who are capable of building a Nike level manufacturing facility aren't, them and Kanye aren't together developing a community. So it's really all community work that needs to be done. And I think when we talk about communities, not just the black community, but identifying your community. Like, what community are you a member of? Like, for me, I know I like to be around progressive people, intelligent people, peaceful people, people that want to see a certain type of future. Don't matter what color they are. Like, I just want to see all like-minded people with, that love one another, that want to see a progressive future win. So I pull from that community. So I'm willing to do business with all groups of people as long as they have good intentions and they have a good heart. You know what I'm saying? So you got to build your community and figure out who closest to you can build that factory and hold it down, for you.
For sure. And as far as like, that's why I love what you did. You control your destiny.
To a degree.
With the shop though, you control your destiny.
Yeah, until they
you the manufacturer.
Until they delete your Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
And that's when I realized, like,
they deleted your Instagram?
Yeah, like distribution. Like, so I don't know how deep y'all typically go on the show.
We jump off the bridge here.